I call Chris Bishop.
Well, I do agree with the member in one respect. This is not a wonderful bill. There are plenty of other bills passed by this parliament, put forward by the government, that are wonderful. This is a sensible, technical bill that makes basically remedial changes to the Sale and Supply of Alcohol Act, and of course the major changes to allow low alcohol and non-alcoholic beer, wine and mead products to be displayed in a single area of the supermarket. We have this bizarre situation at the moment, sir, where these products, which people are increasingly turning to as an alternative to traditional alcohol products, particularly beer, where they have to be displayed not in the single area of the supermarket, which Parliament legislated in the 2012 alcohol and liquor reforms, but in the basically the fruit juice and fizzy drink section of the supermarket. So we have this absurd situation where people go to the single alcohol section in order to pick up a 12-pack or pick up a bottle of wine, and expecting to find alternative products that they may wish to drink instead, and they can't find them. And so, of course, what the bill does is essentially clear up that piece of, I guess you would say it was an oversight in the 2012 legislation, although, interestingly, the prospect of, well, not the prospect, but the popularity of low alcohol and non-alcoholic products has really rapidly increased in the last 3 or 4 years. You do see people at parties and social events increasingly choosing those low alcoholic products as a substitute, and that's a good thing. And we had a bit of a debate at the Select Committee about whether or not these products were substitutive or additive, which is a sort of complicated way of basically saying, do people drink less full alcoholic products, or do they just drink more generally? Do they have a few full alcohol beers and then also drink low alcohol beers at the same time, thus increasing their overall alcohol consumption? There was a view put forward by one of the lobby groups in this space, Alcohol Health Watch, that it's actually additive, that people actually end up drinking more. No evidence was actually provided for that, as is often the way with Alcohol Health Watch, but that was that view that was put forward, and actually the evidence, the sales figures and the market research shows that people are actually substituting full alcohol products for low alcohol products, and certainly that's the anecdotal experience that I see around the place. So this is a sensible bill. Sir, Mr. William Seo talked about how it doesn't go far enough, and we heard a tired refrain that we often hear from the Labor Party about how they're going to tackle our drinking culture, and we need to do more, and we need to change default closing hours, and we need to tackle our drinking culture and things like that. And I just make the simple point that I've made in this House on a few occasions, which is that it's actually important to have a look at facts in this situation, because there's a lot of rhetoric about drinking culture in New Zealand. There's a lot of rhetoric and words said about binge drinking in particular. The actual facts are that alcohol consumption in New Zealand is at 30-year lows. The actual facts are that youth drinking is declining and has been for 10 years. The actual facts are that drink driving and youth drink driving are down. The number of young people who say they binge drink or drink to excess is declining and has been for 10 years. So before we get a little bit carried away with the rhetoric about how we need to impose ever more draconian restrictions on alcohol, it's helpful to actually start with the facts. And actually, that is often not what members opposite do in this House, particularly the Labor Party. So, sir, this is not some wonderful piece of transformative, world-changing legislation. The members of the press gallery would like Parliament to consider those pieces of legislation constantly on a 24/7 basis. But actually, sometimes the work of parliamentarians is making those necessary and technical changes to the law that will make a difference. And this essentially clears up an oversight in the 2012 legislation. I think it's going to have unanimous support through the House. It certainly did through the Select Committee. I commend the bill to the House.